Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I've got the colour blend from Simon Says Stamp cardstock, and I'm using Spellbinders Small Die of the Month and the Glimmer of the Month for June 2023 to create a very cute, bright thank you card. And I'm going to show you how to ink blend over your hot foiled images. So these are the hot foils that I've already hot foiled and die cut out. And I have a standard A2 size card which I'm going to use with some white cardstock as my base piece for this little fun scene that we're going to create. So to start with, I have my Distress Oxide in Uncharted Mariner and Selvage Patina, which are beautiful colours when you ink blend them together anyway. And as a backdrop or a background for like my sky area, I'm just going to use the Selvage Patina just to get that color on there, and I'm kind of doing an ombre from the top to the bottom, so nothing too intense. I just wanted this pale sort of bluey kind of sky, and so instead of dragging out another color, just use one that I'm already going to use with the waves that we will ink blend in a minute. So once I had that done, I will put that to one side just to sit and wait for the next part. And now that I've done the backdrop, I'm going to start on the waves, and I'm just going to use the Selvage Patina to start with, seeing as I had it out anyway. I thought I'll start with that, and I'm going to use the lighter of the two colors, which is the Selvage Patina, from the top of the waves down, and just simply inking straight over the top of the hot foil. You'll see that you can do this very easily. And I am going quite gently, just in case, because this was also the first time I'd done this, but I have seen loads of you do this online, and it does still shine through, but we will gently take a cloth later on and just wipe very gently over the top of the foil, just to get some of the excess ink off the hot foil. So once I've done the Selvage Patina inking, I'm just going to clean up my mat so I don't transfer too much ink. It's the lighter of the two colours, so it probably won't make much difference, which is why I usually start with the lighter one first. But if you want to go backwards and forwards between your two ink blended colours, it's probably better just to clean your surface as you go. So once I had done the cleanup, I'm then dragging another little blending brush that I have. These are all super cheap ones. They're not fancy ones, and I'm using the Uncharted Mariner on the bottom part of the waves just to add in the darker color, and going a little heavier handed but still going on lightly. You can sort of add and gradually build up the color as you go if you want to deepen and darken it. So just start off light and just add as you go until you get the color like depth that you want. And then because I had the Selvage Patina Sky, I decided that my sentiment, I'm going to use some of the Uncharted Mariner over this little block. Now this doesn't come with a die to cut out, which I thought was unusual because Spellbinders normally, do that anyway. And the add-on die set for this particular foil set does have coordinating dies for the hot foil plates, but for the sentiment in this one it didn't, which like I say, I thought that was unusual, but so I just cut a sort of block around it just with my paper trimmer, just so I had like a separate sentiment. So once I'd done that, I went back with my Selvage Patina brush without re-inking it, just to drag some more ink and blend that sort of center piece, like where the two colors meet basically. And then I just, for some reason, went over the sentiment as well. So all I'm doing is taking it's actually a used piece of paper towel, and very, very lightly and gently going over the top just to drag some of that excess ink off the foil. But yeah, you can see how super shiny that still is, even with that ink blending, and that's as easy as it gets. It's very, very simple to do, and it's a really lovely effect on a card. So that's the technique part, if you like. So now we're going to add all these pieces together and create our little scene. So I want the bottom one to be like on the absolute edge of the base piece that I've got there. So where the dips are in the waves on the bottom part of the die cut, I'm going to line that up kind of with the edge of the card, so there's none of the background cards sticking out, and then I'll trim off the excess. So I'm just putting some not ink some glue on the bottom edge, also so that the top edge is sort of free from adhesive, so I can tuck things behind there if I want to. And then, as you can see, it's just overhanging on the back there, which I will trim off with some large scissors. I always find when you're trimming things off on the edges, a large pair of scissors is just, it's going to be your best friend. It's just so much easier. It's easier to see where you're cutting, and it's easier to see how, because of the length of the scissor, how long the cut will be, if that makes any sense. But I just find it so much easier than little ones. And also you can cut in sort of one swoop, if you will, rather than little bits, which sometimes cause like jagged edges. Could also use a paper trimmer. But now the bottom of the base piece is nice and flush, and the waves look like there's no gaps in the waves basically. So I'm taking the other piece now, and I'm going to again work out where I want to line that up. I can have a bit more adhesive on this one, but still not all the way to the top, and then just lining it up and as far down behind there, so there's no white cardstock sticking out, as far down as I think I will need it. And also trying to balance how much sky I have above that, so that it's sort of like an equal amount, and then trimming off the edges again. These pieces, I can't remember how wide they are, but they are wider than a 5.5, I believe, so it will fit across the standard, the width of a standard size card, I believe. This piece that's going to go onto my card base is slightly smaller, so I knew it was going to fit anyway. So this is the octopus from the small die of the month for June 23, and I have the 3 pieces that create the little octopus. Now the back piece that has the hole in it is the piece that you can use to create a kind of like a swinging set of legs. So these first 2 pieces will give you sort of more sort of, I guess, dimension, but not physical dimension, and sort of character to your octopus. So the back one has got some detail on his legs, and then this top one I'm putting on here has got details on his head, like his little face, and then these 2 line up exactly on top of each other, which you will see here in a second. And this is where I used that Simon Says, it's like rainbow paper. It came in one of the kits. Now these back legs, the reason there's a hole there is that you can put a little like a tiny little round mechanism, or a little round foam pad in there, and that's what will then hold it to the rest of it, but it'll swing free. I'm not going to do that today. I will show that to you in another video. Maybe I'll do like a live, not live, so that I can just talk freely and show you how that works. But this is the little what are these things called? Jellyfish. And they've also got this little mechanism that will allow you to actually let the, what are they called? The tentacles. Are they tentacles? I'm not sure. But they can also then swing freely if you want that kind of card. I'm not doing that on this one, like I say, but yeah. So what I did with the, what are they called again? The jellyfish. I lost my train of thought. Is I've used all the same papers, that rainbow cardstock of Simon's, for all the octopus and the jellyfish, and there's also a starfish, which you'll see in a second. And what I did with the jellyfish is, because there's 3 parts to it and it's all on the one die, I cut it out 3 times in different areas of that cardstock, so that I got a variant in colour, because they were kind of like a rainbow pack of colour of cardstock. So I just used it at different places, cut it out 3 times, and then just mixed and matched. So I put like more of like a purple, a red and an orange piece together for each one, just so I had 3 different sort of variant of the jellyfish, and I kind of figured that's how it would be in nature, right? Of course, you're going to have this color octopus and jellyfish, of course. So yeah, this was very creative as far as like colors go. I didn't overthink the colors. I just went, I like those colors with the blue, and that's what I went with. So it's not necessarily realistic, so I don't want anybody jumping on me for that. It's just a bit of fun, and it really contrasts nicely against the blue background because it's a very blue, soft and shiny background. So this is the little starfish. He's also got two pieces to him, so you can use them individually, obviously, or put together. They have a slightly darker piece behind the sort of orange top, so his little spots kind of show through, which is really, really cute. And then I think at this point I was still deciding whether I was going to make the octopus sort of have his legs, second set of legs, swing, and I decided not to in the end. I thought I'll just keep this really simple, but I will show you that on another video, how that mechanism works. It's very cute and it's very easy to do. So at this point you can, because I'm sticking it flat to the back of his head to create the second set of legs, you can move it about so that you get them where you want them, so you can see enough of them. And I just thought he turned out really, really cute. I know you can't see the face so well on camera, but in real life you can see his little die-cut face, which is very sweet. And also if you had dark cardstock behind that part, it'd probably show up even better. So this is where, having not glued all the waves completely flat, means I can tuck parts of him behind the waves so that it gives that little bit of dimension. So I'm popping these guys on where I think they might land up, and I would just arrange this little scene, I guess you could call it a little scene. And I worked in odd numbers. I have one giant but one octopus, 3 jellyfish and 1 starfish. So odd numbers I think always works. I know, I mean in total there's 5, so there's still odd numbers on there, but I think that works well for me and my brain. So this has worked out really, really nicely. So at this point I thought I might pop up my jellyfish, even though I'm gonna octopus, sorry, so that at least his head is popped up, but some of his tentacles will be tucked behind the waves, and I think that worked out quite nicely. You'll see that in a second, and I'm just going to leave them there, so it's kind of like he's I was going to stick it down, but I decided not to. But it's kind of like he's coming out of the water. He's I don't know what they do. They don't leap, but you know what I mean. He's like coming out of that water. And then I stuck one of the jellyfish down flat and then started popping up the other ones, and it's not so bad on camera, but in real life it really didn't look right. So I then dotted them. It's not even English. I took the foam off the back of their little heads, which you'll see in a minute. So for this bit, I was trying to just get the tentacle. There was one little tentacle that would not play game, and it was getting itself stuck where I didn't want it. Again, I was trying to tuck the tentacles in and out, like above and behind the waves, so it just gave it that little bit of dimension as well. So popped up my starfish. Popped up my starfish, and again, didn't like that. So in the end, the only one that's popped up is the octopus. So I will just take those pieces and stick them flat instead. Before I tried to stick another pop, I keep calling them pop dots. I think that's a brand, is it? I don't know, from like the old days. I tried to add some foam to this third one, and again I just did not like the way it looked. It didn't look right. It was kind of like they were flying over the ocean rather than just being kind of in the ocean, or sort of coming out a little bit. So in the end, this is where I'm going to take all those little doohicks off and just stick them flat. And I'm only sticking adding the adhesive to the heads, so the tentacles are all free on all of them. It's just the sort of main head that gets stuck down in some way. So popping those on, so now I'm much happier with that. And I decided my starfish had to come off as well. So he's going flat down there, and I just think it looks much better. Now this paper is also shiny. It's not hot foil shiny, but it's got a sheen to it, so it all kind of gave that sort of, I want to say, that sort of shine that you would get in an ocean where the sun's hitting the ocean and all the animals. I know animals are not shiny, but but you know, this is creative stuff, right? So they can be shiny. And it just all added to it, and it just made for an interesting card. I was really quite pleased with it by the time I'd finished it, and I hope that you guys have found this kind of fun, and also shows you how to ink blend over your hot foil pieces. So many things you can do with it. I've got another video coming up where I'll show you something else you can do with that, with your hot foil pieces, other than just using them in all their glory for what they're meant for. I will show you another technique that you can use over your hot foil, so stay tuned for that video. But I hope you guys like this. This was fun to do. It's very bright. And it's, I don't know, I really, the more I worked with it and the more I enjoyed it. So you can see the shininess and the little faces and the detail on the dies. As always, Spellbinders brings their A game, when they bring any of their dies and hot foil plates and all that fun stuff. So until next time, guys, bye for now.